Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And we have our very first EX Unbound Protection character in the Blazing Red Octagram Guy, Crimson, whatever you want to call him. I'm going to call him Guy, so get used to it. He is, I think he's a good bridge protector, meaning that he doesn't truly excel in helping you do damage, but he's not trash either. He's a good kind of starting protector for people that need to understand the game, that don't know what is good and what is not. I don't think he's super tippity top tier, but again, I don't think he's bottom of the barrel trash. He's a good entry level. But is it worth summoning for him as an entry level protector when we're about to get the triple featured unit banner in 8 days as of recording this? No, I don't think so. But what does he do? Well, first off, being a EX Unbound protector, he gives Octagram Demon Lord characters 100% extra damage against light enemies. And, you know, before now, we look at my 120 New Year's Shion, who's also giving extra damage to Dark. She's doing 60%. So we're getting an extra 40% passive damage from Guy because he is an EX Unbound character. And as we get his ability release board, his Unbound board leveled up with the new crystals and things, it will go even higher. And it can cap out at 120% additional damage against light enemies for Octagram Demon Lord, which is now double what the old EX protectors were doing, which is not an insignificant amount. Still giving magic characters 25% attack and defense, which this is not normal. This is what a maxed out EX protector would give, and now it's just straight up 25. Does it go higher? Probably. Let's check that out. 25. No, it's always 25%. It's just the passive damage goes higher. So he's just going to give everyone 25%, which is the max that a normal protector would give. He's giving you 30 skill points for the first turns 2, 3, 4, and 5, which helps alongside the skill point cap increase to 150. His actual protection skill applies Lord's Ambition to everybody, which makes you immune from most debuffs and effects, and then stacks weakness resistance down on the enemy. And if you have 3 people on your front line, you can get 3 individual stacks of this weakness resistance. So in a perfect setting, you're going to get 30%, unless someone's dead, and then you get 20%. And then on top of that, he lowers all attribute resistance by 100%, so element down. This by itself is not super impactful. It's not a very strong buff skill or debuff skill in any way, shape, or form, but it does help you do a little bit extra damage. And then because he's a converter and he's a speed-focused team, he changes all blues and all oranges into greens. So he's going to be good for beginners if you manage to pull him somehow. I don't think a lot of older players who have boxes already and units and teams are really going to find a use, but let's test him out. Alright, so we're going to go into Tempered Edge versus Gazel with the, well, it came out for the first anniversary, so we're going to bring first anniversary Milim and Rimuru, and Isis, technically. They all came out for the first anniversary, and we have 1, 2, 3 Octagram Demon Lord characters, so they're all going to get that 100% damage buff against a light Gazel. And then we've got Isis because turn 1 we need her orb change, and she's got the green buff, which Guy is changing orbs to green, so that'll work really well. And then Rain for her magic buff, and also has a green buff in case I don't want to use Isis for whatever reason. But, I mean, this team will work very well, I think, for beginners. Even if you don't have Rain and Rimuru, you could bring other characters that would work just as well. And I think he's a good just starting protector, but not going to really carry you through into the endgame content. Alright, turn 1. We didn't bring any skill point units, so we're just going to use the single Isis orb change. We'll bring her back, or we'll use the Rain buff next turn. Really doesn't matter. But we're going to have our full front line of Octagram Demon Lord characters, so we're going to do a lot of damage against this Gazel turn 1. Rimuru's light, but then this Rimuru and Milim are dark, so they already have type advantage. So they're going to do even more, and we've already taken off like a fifth of his HP off of one orb, or one hand. So now we're looking pretty good. We'll take, I guess we'll take Light Rimuru out, and we'll bring in Rain, so we could use hers, because hers doesn't have any downsides, unlike Isis, where she nerfs oranges, which obviously we're not running oranges to begin with, but yeah, it's just a superior buff because it doesn't even have a debuff. And it lowers crit resistance, which this team is going to crit with this Dark Rimuru. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This lowers the all element resistance, so now we're going to do even more damage with our Dark and Light and any character. He changed the entire field of orbs to green, which is great. There's no restriction. It's not like a 3 blue and 3 orange, which in some cases you can get like 4 of some color and not have it work. They've kind of gone away from that with all these later 2024 protectors, which I think is a very good thing. And he's giving us passively extra 30 skill points. So we're going to cap out at 150, and then turn 3 we're going to get another 30, and then another 30. And then finally on turn 5, that's the last time we're going to get it. And we haven't even sent an ult, and he's already almost dead. So we have access to this Rimuru ult. I'm wanting a Milim ult, but I'm not sure if he'll live long enough. So let's take you out of here. We didn't even... Okay, so let's do... Yeah, let's just bring this Rimuru in. And now we're at 180, because, again, that passive 30 points. We're not going to use anything here, so we're going to get up to 210 points next turn, unless we just straight up kill him, which, I mean, very well could happen right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I think he'll live, but just barely. But just barely. We haven't even had to do an ult. And this is because, 1, of his element resistance down, and 2, we're doing 100% extra damage to him, just passively, because of Guy's passive skill. 100% extra damage to light enemies done by Octagram Demon Lords, which means that now with 210 points, we can use our small power magic buff with Rain, because it's past turn 3, and that's why I hate her. Let's do the attack buff, let's do the alt buff, and then we still have points left over, because we've been stockpiling the free 30s that we've been getting, and we can use the Dark Rimuru buff, and now, even though he has literally a nut tap of HP left, we're going to do a lot of damage with this one Milim ult, which now is going to have extra element resistance down. Also, the Lord's Ambition effect that we've been placing on everybody has been stacking weakness resistance for the past couple of turns, so he's up to 60%, because each single instance of this purple buff is 10%, and if they're all active at once, it means that we have 10, 20, 30% going on him for the past 2 turns. So this makes sense. It won't activate here, because it's at the end of the turn, so we're going to be stuck at that 60, but it's still another debuff that is being applied essentially for free. And this Milim does 405,000 damage, which is roughly about the same amount of damage that the first anniversary team did after 8 turns of stacking. They did about 400,000 damage. Granted, that was 2 years ago, yeah, but we did it in 4 turns, half the time, with less powerful units, with no other... Well, I mean, the Protector of Eldora was giving you 70% magic, and we were getting 20 from Rain. So yeah, definitely could have hit a lot harder, but we almost killed him just strictly off normal orbs. So that's impressive by itself. Alright, so technically leads Octagram Demon Lord, but only gives the extra damage against light enemies. We're not going against a light enemy anymore. We're going to go into the Chamber of Memories that's built for the World of Fantasy team, so Milim as the DPS character. And he's just going to function as a, substitute green converter protector for the team. So he's going to give us the whole hand of greens, which this team wants. He's going to give us the element resistance down, which will help Milim do more damage. He'll give us the free 30 points, and he'll do the weakness resistance down stacks with the Lord's Ambition skill, and prevent us from being debuffed, which I believe will also prevent us from taking burn damage, just like it prevents us from taking from that 80-point seal in Jubilee. It should also work against the burn as well. So let's put that to the test. Alright, so turn 1, we're going to use our 2 orb changes here. The more skills you use in the first 4 turns, the more crit damage that Milim gives, or gives herself. She is not skill fused, so we're going to just start at the base percentage level, and then we'll bring you in, and I think the hero has like Light Shun under her, so it's not really going to make much of a difference. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Not enough to get Guy, unfortunately, so hopefully next turn works out for us as far as orb change is concerned, but I kind of doubt it. Yeah, I kind of doubt it. Alright, so there's the burn. Well, the trait does get us there. So the burn, we already took damage from it. But when we use Lord's Ambition, it should allow us to bypass that. So let's use a buff right there for the attack, and then we can take Shion out, and we'll use Benimaru's Convert because it's cheap. It would change this entire hand to blues, which are obviously nerfed, and that's not a good thing. And then let's bring the hero in for her 0 cost buff and the orb damage and element resistance down, which will not stack on top of what Guy is doing, because Guy is doing 100% versus the hero's 50, so it will get bypassed. But even though it's a full hand of blues, Guy will convert this entire hand to greens. And now the Lord's Ambition kicks in, and you see that the burn symbol is gone. It's been grayed out down here. Once this runs out next turn, the burn will come back, because it's still around for 9 turns. But it means that this turn, we will not take burn damage, which is really, really good. And let's use another orb change, because we have the points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. We're not going to cycle again unless we get another convert or another trait kicking in, which I don't think is going to happen. 32k. I don't have the ability to bring... yeah, so burn 0 right there. And yeah, we didn't take any burn damage on that turn, so it saved us a little tiny bit. Not a lot, but it saved us a little bit of damage. So here, let's use another stack of the attack buff. We could use another orb change for Milim, and that gives us this. We could use the alt swap to give us 5 green orbs. Unfortunately, if that was a red orb, or an orange orb, that would have been really good because we could have used Shizu instead. But now we've used quite a few skill points, and we still have one more turn, and this should get us her EX ult as well, plus another Guy. So, I mean, while we don't have a green buffer to really make this team cycle very well, it is still working. And she's taking quite a bit of damage now. So, are we ready to nuke here? 25 points plus... We need to use whatever skill gives her crit. So, we need 25, 55, so that's 50, 60, 70, 80 points plus 40. So we need 120. So we need to go probably one more turn of nothing. And I think that's just going to be accomplished by swapping our 2 characters out. So you go away, and you go away because you're low on HP. And yeah, here we go. I think a full hand of green should get us another Guy, so we don't need to worry about that. This should also get us a full thing, so let's use one more skill here for funsy onesies. Because we only need 120 points. We should be able to get that off this. And we could probably use another skill, too, while we're at it. Maybe the alt swap, and we maybe could have left Milim in. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're going to cap out right there. Let's do the alt swap again for fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, well... Oh, God, are you kidding me? We're 1 point shy? Alright, well, that was a mistake. I guess we'll have to come back and do that again. That's unfortunate. Are you serious? Math is stupid. Does anyone gonna give us skill points here on this turn? Please, for the love of God. No, it's turn 5. What? I'm an idiot. We get 30 points. Oh my God. Oh, maybe I've been recording too many videos this weekend. What does Guy do? Well, he gives you 30 skill points until up to turn 5. Okay, well, what turn is it? It's 5. No, we're 1 point short. What are you talking about, you stupid fat fuck? Okay, alright, we're better now. We're okay. Oh, well, that's only slightly embarrassing there. Okay, so let's do... It's turn 5, so we are no longer going to get any extra crit damage from using skills, so she is capped out at 61% plus a 30% attack buff. We'll use the guaranteed crit and the magic attack, which doesn't help her at all, and then we'll use the physical buff and alt resistance down, and this, ideally, should be enough damage when you combine it with the extra element down to take out Guy in a single shot. And then if it doesn't, we'll have Shion's follow-up attack and these follow-up orbs. So, Guy. He's fine. He doesn't blow me away. He does give you 30 skill points. I don't know if you knew that. Turns 2, 3, 4, and 5. Maybe new to some people. 490k. Okay, sure. I mean, Millam's quite old. This is not an optimized team by any means. He does work as a protector, but he's not doing anything super extraordinary either. I think he's just a good base level, so I don't think people need to summon for him. Whatever comes out on the 28th is going to be a whole lot better than him, but he's kind of a bridge intro protector for people that don't know any better. Okay, so for the final part of the video, a stage that would give a lot of newer players trouble is EX5 versus Clayman in Tempered Edge, because you specifically need to burn him on turn 2. Otherwise, he poisons and he binds you. And on top of that, turn 1, he puts a crit nerf on you somewhere in here. There, decreases all targets' crit rate by 100%. But these are all debuffs, even the bind and the poison. We're going to use the Lord's Ambition skill from Guy to just avoid all of that. Now, we're going to have to activate it every single turn, otherwise we're going to continue to be binded and poisoned, which is not ideal. But we can get around it, so we technically don't have to bring Fire Benimaru to use his turn 1 orb change and his burn ability. We're going to bring Veldora to just buff the 4 green orbs we get turn 1, and that should be enough with our protection gauge characters to get access to Guy turn 2, so we can avoid a lot of that. In theory, this should work, and we have burn and burn, we have synergy power, we have crit and pierce, we'll have pierce power, fire attack, so this should work just fine. It's just that we're going to use it to negate a whole bunch of annoying things. Alright, so turn 1, we're going to use the green buff with Veldora. This will help get these greens a 70% extra protection gauge buff on top of everything else. We'll bring Violet in for Shizu, and we'll bring Rimuru in for Veldora. And then between Violet and the Megamine that's underneath Rimuru, we will get access to Guy on turn 2. And then because the green buff will still be active, we'll definitely have him for turn 3. Now, we could just apply one of the burn skills from either Rimuru or Violet to avoid the whole conundrum itself, but we're intentionally not going to do that. So let's go ahead and just activate the crit and pierce, and then we'll bring back Christmas Shizu for Shuna, and we will activate the pierce power buff. And that's all we're going to do. We're not intentionally not going to activate the burn skills, so we can see us get binded, see us get poisoned, and then see us then prevent it from really making an impact. So here we have an ult for Violet. That's not great, but we've activated Lord's Ambition, which means the crit debuff is already gone, so we're freely critting him. And now here's the poison, here's the bind. The Lord's Ambition is preventing that, but it's only for that turn, because the poison and bind lasts for multiple turns. But we can get that out of here, because it's a 5-turn debuff right there. But it doesn't really matter all that much when we don't really care. So 55-point buff, burn, burn, and then we'll bring in Christmas Shuna, and we should have enough points to use her skill as well. So we are currently locked in binded. Like, I can't switch these characters until we use Lord's Ambition. And now those are gone. The poison is gone, the bind is gone, and now I can swap out Christmas Shuna, I can swap out Christmas Shizu for Christmas Shuna, and we're no longer affected by any of that. So this is pretty good. Let's do the attack buff for Rimuru too. Why not? Because we're gonna ult and we're gonna kill here. Probably not with Violet by herself, but we'll have Rimuru follow up, and we've got what, 50% burn, maybe 60% burn, because Violet's might be a little higher. I don't remember. She does 188. Okay, not super great. Rimuru does 271, and he's gonna die either from this orb or the burn. Either way. Oh wow, he guarded. Okay, well cool. Die. So, I mean, there are specific use cases where Guy can eliminate a lot of the stupid things that the enemies put on you, being bind and crit and frostbite and all these other debuffs. It doesn't affect like orb nerfs at all, but it can help get rid of a lot of the frustration with some of these earlier fights that have stupid gimmicks. So, is Guy good? I mean, yes, he is a good protector. He's a brand new rarity. He gives a lot of extra damage for certain typings that, you know, the whole game has been built around for the past year and a half, 2 years almost. But I don't think he's worth summoning for right now with, on, you know, as of recording this, next Monday being the triple featured unit banner. We'll get the live stream showing off what that protection character is going to do. It's probably going to do a lot more than what this guy is doing. So I don't think you need to summon for him right now. And he's going to be around until the end of November. Like, if you look at his banner right now, he's not going anywhere for a long time. So even if you wait and see what comes out on the 28th, you're still going to have almost a month to really decide. It's like, do I like whatever's coming on the 28th? No? Okay, do I like what this guy does? Do I think he'll help me more? And do I like this Milim? Okay, well then yeah, you can make an informed decision at that point, knowing what's coming and what's out versus what this guy already does. And then you could summon away. So take your pick. But I think he's not going to bring too much value in the long run to a lot of players. That's my personal opinion. But am I being too harsh on him? Am I overselling him, underselling him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.